The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Six Flags, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And I want to thank you guys for kind of taking the reins last week and recording a show, editing it, and putting it up. This is my really busy time of the year. I had IAAPA. I've been working crazy hours. I'm sick, if you can't tell. So it's just it's been kind of a crazy couple weeks for me. So it was nice.
Is this the first time? It's been all three of us since before the park closed?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yikes!
I'm not super sure.
Sorry to cut you off, but yikes.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, we had last week was just you two, and then the week
before that was you two plus Ray.
And then I honestly think the last time that we were all together, I think we were together on the show that dropped November 1st. I think
were we? Oh well, it's still
anyway. It's been a while.
I want to say we keep saying last week. We actually didn't have an episode last week because my bad. I actually thought for some reason Thanksgiving was this coming week, and literally I looked at the calendar. I was like, "Oh, Thanksgiving is literally not that week," and I'm like, "That's not going to happen." So I apologize for not having not having an episode and not looking at the calendar, and so. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did, and I got some new gadgets and things like that for the website and for the site and everything coming next year and stuff and everything. So super excited. Can't wait. We're one step closer to Siren's Curse and getting to ride that and everything. There hasn't really been any updates from the park or anything for that, except for I think Tony took a picture of this is a while ago, but took a picture of the giant wheel and the gondolas were starting to come off and stuff and everything. So it's a whole process, and
that's all we can say about Cedar Point.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I selfishly really hope it's ready for Coaster Mania. I don't have much hope that it will be, but that is a really good time of the year for me, where at work my summer festivals haven't started yet, but I'm coming off the busy spring break season. June is a really dead month for me. I can make trips happen pretty easily. But since I went to the park so much last year and I missed Top Thrill 2, I kind of want to wait until Siren's Curse opens before I go to the park for the first time this upcoming year.
Top Thrill is running.
2 for 1.
I mean, as long as I get Siren's Curse, whatever, right?
Okay, here's a question for you. Which are you more excited for? Being that you haven't ridden either, obviously.
I mean, I kind of think I'm more excited for Siren's Curse, honestly. I mean, not that Top Thrill 2 doesn't look amazingly fun, but there's nothing like Siren's Curse in the States. I mean, not that there's anything like Top Thrill 2 in the States before, but we've ridden Top Thrill Dragster before. The whole tilt track drop thing just looks insane, and it'd be one thing if it was just the tilt track, but it looks like it has a pretty darn good layout after it, too. I mean, I'm really excited for Siren's Curse.
I would agree.
I agree.
I mean, obviously, we were at Top Thrill 2, but,
Yeah. Thank God. Not many
5,000 people that were able to ride that.
Yeah.
No, you guys both have that credit that I don't.
Yeah, we got that rare credit on our log ride app for 2024. Yep, we did get the ride on it.
I think it might even be called ultra rare at this point.
Yeah, right. That's the ultra rare.
Lord. Hey, I got this time or a year ago today or whatever. It was some point this week. Top Thrill 2 Spike was getting topped off. So, and then it was 2 weeks later they were testing.
Yeah.
Memories. How naive we were.
We haven't heard anything really from the park. We haven't heard when opening day is yet. We haven't heard any of the festivals or anything that are coming. There's been nothing besides them doing I think like the bands or something, not battle of the bands, but like some kind of
bands and residents. They were asking people to sign up for that.
Right. That's literally the only for 2020.
That's for, because I'm like looking at Canada's Wonderland because I want to go ride Alpine Fury. Nothing from them yet. I'm obviously always just curious about Kings Island because that's like home park number 2. Nothing yet. I think they're just waiting till all the winter events stop, and then they're just going to do one big, just
maybe.
Hopefully, I don't know.
I'm getting antsy. I'm like, my countdown timer, I need to start it, and I'm like, I don't know what, you know.
I mean, God, we have an opening date by closing date.
I'm like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, I know that Six Flags now. It's like, are we gonna get rid of like Winter Chill Out? Are we getting like, is that coming back? Are we getting rid of like, is everything all staying the same? Like, is Coaster Mania coming back? Like, we're saying all these things as past tense, but like, I know the new company formed and they could be looking at everything from abroad and being like, hey, that event, let's just, you know, we're brand new company. So
I think the park was looking for reasons to get rid of Winter Chill Out anyways, just because
like Tony's tweet up, like is Tony tweet up going to be done? Like, I mean, I'm just thinking outside the box of like, is things going to be different next year? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So
Six Flags has never been as personable as Cedar Point always was. They've always been more corporate-y. And there's pros and cons to that, but I hope we don't lose that because that's something I always loved about Cedar Point, the personality.
Six Flags always did pretty well in the event space. You know, they had the Holiday in the Park, and I mean they had a springtime festival a couple years ago. I think your big kind of namesake events, I think those are kind of safe. I also feel like enthusiast events are probably safe because those. I mean, they're a lot to put on, but there's a pretty big ROI there when you have so many people coming to the park on one weekend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're filling up the hotels, and you're filling up, you know, and you're having people buy stuff and everything. So
things like Winter Chill Out or maybe the smaller one-off events. Unfortunately I probably could see those going away. Just because, I mean, logistically, for Cedar Point's case, logistically, I mean,
last off season they decided to add what was it? Wasn't it Dorney Park that had a Winter Chill Out? So maybe I don't know.
Oh yeah, I guess they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that one might have just been because they were building a new ride, though. I mean, wasn't that like an Ace event? Like,
right.
I don't even think it was a park sponsored event.
No, it was a Winter Chill Out.
Was it?
Yeah, they called it. Yeah, they called it Winter Chill
Out. But I mean, it might have just been like, look, this is our chance to do one finally, and we finally have a new coaster going in for the first time in 20 years. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think you should all just be grateful that Cedar Point just didn't lose 6 rides at the snap of a finger like one of the other sister parks. But
right.
Yeah.
That is very true. That is very true. That is crazy. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. It was like, whoa, you know, like, oh my goodness, and boom, a lot of changes for sure.
I know it's
a great adventure. I'm personally sad because I liked Sky Rides, and I know that they're like a dying breed. So I'm kind of sad
that's probably the biggest loss out of all of them. Yeah. King to Cause sucked.
I know the fate of King to Cause Tower. I mean, obviously we know the ride is not returning in its current form. Whether or not it gets reimagined, whether or not that remains to be seen. But Green Lantern is officially being scrapped. If either of you did not know,
we did. Pictures, that wasn't like confirmed last time we recorded.
Pictures have surfaced of them tearing down Green Lantern, and they are not preserving it. It is 100% being scrapped.
Good. Yeah. Should have been scrapped when Kentucky Kingdom got rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, technically though, I don't know if you guys count. Dueling Dragons as one coaster or two on the B&M scrap list. I also don't know if you count Old Hulk on the scrap list, but I mean, Green Lantern is technically only really the third B&M coaster ever to be scrapped. But a lot of I guess you could count Nemesis too, you know, because they.
Yeah, if you're gonna count Hulk, you got to count Nemesis. Yeah, but
I'm just kind of surprised that they didn't decide to put like floorless trains on it and go with the floorless route.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumor a long time ago that B&M officially stops supporting their rides after 25 years. 25 years is kind of...
Maybe.
Well,
I've heard that from...
You were at IAAPA, sir. Well, you should have went up to the B&M booth and been like, "Hi, guys. I got a question for you."
I'm just saying that I have heard that after... And I don't know how old Green Lantern was, but after 25 years...
probably around there.
That's when B&M stops supporting their rides. So if
interesting. That would be a really interesting...
If that's the case, I could see a lot of these older B&Ms starting to kick the bucket in the next few years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and then there's, the case of Nemesis and Hulk where they redid them. If that was the case, I wonder if that probably restarts that cycle of 25 years.
I mean, I'm almost certain... I don't know about Nemesis just because I'm not as up to date on that. But for Hulk, I mean, it's a brand new ride. It was manufactured and then put in storage. So I'm almost certain that if there is a 25-year rule, that clock just got restarted, 5 years ago or whatever they built that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about.
I don't know if either of you remember, but I mean, they literally tore that ride down to the launch tube and completely rebuilt it.
Man, that was an ugly time to be going to Islands of Adventure. No dueling dragons, no Hulk. I don't think Hagrid opened yet.
Yeah, Velocicoaster and Hagrid's weren't there yet. I remember riding Spider-Man, and those construction walls were just so ugly. But it was so weird seeing the Hulk launch tube with no track coming out or anything. It was a wild time.
I hope they weren't charging full price to go to Islands of Adventure back then.
I'm sure they probably were.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, should we actually talk about what we were going to talk about this week?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because speaking of B&M, this is a quick update, but since we are Six Flags oriented now, Wrath of Rakshasa, I got it right this time, officially went vertical this week, I guess, or maybe late last week going into this week. Just like a couple supports and like maybe the station piece and like the curve coming out of the station started going up, and the track looks really pretty not in person, in real life, because we had only seen the animation. Yeah, we'd only seen the animation, and now there's like, oh, this is the actual track, and it's very bright blue and yellow. It'll look really good on the skyline. I was thinking about it last night. That's going to be a really good addition just to look at. Plus, they have a really good coaster lineup without this ride, and this just only adds to it. So yeah, I'm excited. I think that's a park on my radar for next year because my girlfriend's got family up in Chicago, so kind of a good excuse to go up there and make a pit stop at Six Flags. And same as Canada's Wonderland. That's also, she has family in Toronto too. So
wow,
2 new coasters and 2 new parks for her that we might get to, just thanks to family locations. But yeah, so that's what we got to say about Wrath of Rakshasa. Man, I got it right the first time.
No,
I corrected myself quick.
I'm excited for that coaster to open at that park. That park they haven't gotten anything coaster new wise, right? In a while, right?
Max Force in 2019.
That's a while. I mean, it's 2019.
Valley Fair would like a word with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or Michigan's Adventure. Hey.
Right. They're like, talk about a while, bro. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got a new kids area and a new coaster there. Right?
Ooh.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
but so this is gonna be a little bit of a shorter episode. I think the next episode, and I got to talk to you guys offline, but it'll probably be our
we got to start the Grinch and Santa stuff.
So I think
we got to figure out how we're going to do that this year.
I was actually thinking about this, and we'll just talk about this live for just a second. I think what we should do is, instead of picking 46 parks or however many parks that Six Flags has now, I'm thinking we pick maybe 10 parks randomly, and you pick your 10. We don't say a word. Kyle, you pick your 10, and I'll pick my 10 of whatever.
And we do a Grinch and a Santa for both.
Yeah, we do a Grinch and a Santa for both, and we call it like that. And maybe if we have duplicates, well then we've got duplicates. But
That's
and
I like
do
that.
something like that. So I literally thought about that, and I was like, you know what, that'll be a good idea instead of going on for 4 hours talking about whatever. So
Yeah, no kidding.
but yeah, that will be next week's episode, because there will be an episode next week, because there is no Christmas holiday time next week that I know of. I'm looking at a calendar right now. And speaking of the calendar that I'm looking at right now,
There you go.
we'll play on that. CP Rundown calendars are for sale for 2025. They are $17.75 plus shipping. If you want one, go to cprundown.com/store. Go take a peek and see all the months and everything. You can see, that the January's got a beautiful Valraven photo of it with snow on it, which is really cool. I think it was one year at Winter Chill Out. It was like during the morning.
Unless you snuck in the park, I would assume that's what it was.
Yeah, no, definitely don't sneak in the park. That's against park rules. It was in the morning before the snow melt, because I remember I had
There was a year where it was snowy at first, and then
and then the sun came out and melted all the snow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really glad I did like the 8th group. So anyway, if you want a calendar, unfortunately the guaranteed date to get that by Christmas has passed by the time this episode is released. So if you want a calendar by January or so, 1st of January, it could come before Christmas.
The first person that ordered it, she got it in like a week. So
yeah. So
but there's been crazy snowstorms here, so don't
right
count your chickens.
Right. Yeah. Because I know I didn't order. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that has ordered a calendar. Really appreciate it. It doesn't really help the website, just as something fun to show off some photos that people take off, throughout the year. And, I that's why I started it. I'm like, you know what? It'd be kind of cool just to have because I've always looked at calendars like the Ace calendar, and there's other calendars that are out there that
Ace
I'm like,
stopped doing their calendar too.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So if y'all used to buy an Ace calendar, better come buy a CP Rundown calendar.
There you go. What's nice about ours though is it's literally Cedar Point specific. It's and we try to match the 4th of July with fireworks and so on and so forth. So I've never really seen an only Cedar Point calendar before.
The park used to do one, but it was never. I don't know. This is going to sound bad, but it was never very good. It was a little too
corporate. Maybe
they'd zoom in on a performer in a live show, and that would be a month's picture. It's like, no, we don't care about that. We want pictures of rides.
Yeah, pictures of rides and stuff like that. And I think there was one year that we actually took a picture, or we did like a night kind of thing or whatever. So maybe next year we'll do.
We're gonna have a lot of parks to choose from. Maybe we could just do a whole Six Flags one.
No. Maybe we could do 2, a Cedar Point specific.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, that could. All right, we'll have to. See.
So we're gonna make it to a bunch of parks next year, I'm sure. So
yeah.
Never know. Anyways.
Interesting. And interesting. Anyway, if you want your calendar, go to cprundown.com/store. Go take a peek and go buy yourself a calendar for next year, so you don't forget that Thanksgiving was last week, like I did. And also,
newsflash, Carson, Thanksgiving isn't November. It is not December.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. It was late this year, so sorry. And then the also I will be at Great Ohio Coaster Club's holiday party. That will be coming, I think not this weekend, but the following weekend after that. If you haven't bought a calendar and you still want to buy a calendar, you can hold off there, and I will save you the shipping, and they will be $15 flat. So I'll have a card reader or cash or whatever you want to do. So really, again, I really appreciate the support that you guys do. And Evan, I know that you're going to buy a few calendars from me if I don't sell out, and if not, I'll have to buy them online for you. So
yeah, exactly. And I know my mom, I think, bought 3 for her and relatives of mine. So you're looking at probably 5 just from my family, because I'll buy one for my house and then one for at work too.
I love it. Good stuff. So
my family on its own is making sure that you you get your money back on creating these.
Kyle, we know that you went to IAAPA the last time that we recorded, and we definitely teased a little bit of it. I heard that you got to see some trains, not a lot of trains, but some coaster trains there, and everything. But I know that everyone was curious on why you were gone, so you want to give us the latest scoop on, well, not really the latest, but
Carson, you mean the rundown? The rundown on IAAPA?
yeah, you want to get the rundown, ding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of what you got to see and do, and how I didn't get to go to IAAPA this year.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be me trying to rack my brain. So if you guys have any questions or anything, that might help me remember my time. But yeah, I got to go to IAAPA this year. I went for work one day, on Tuesday. So the first day that the show floor was open. And then I went back Tuesday night off the clock, Wednesday night and Thursday night. So I definitely got a good feel of the show floor this year. I definitely got to walk around and check out a bunch of the different booths. Right off the bat, before we get into the trains, it definitely, I mean, I've only ever been to IAAPA one other time, and that was last year with you, Karsten. But you know, I've been following IAAPA for years. It definitely felt like a little bit of a, I don't want to say a disappointing year. It wasn't disappointing at all, but it definitely felt like there was a little bit less going on this year. And I don't know if that's just because that's how it played out this year, or I was kind of thinking in my head, most parks operate on essentially a 5-year plan where you plan out big capital expenditures 5 years ahead of time. 5 years ago right now was in December of 2019 when Orion and other big projects for 2020 were being built. Most of them opened on time.
There were a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot. Most of them opened sometime that year. Some opened the next year. But I'm almost wondering if that first season back from COVID, when parks should have been buying rides for the 2025 season, if that just didn't happen.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know, I don't.
I'm also wondering, like, since, you know, last year was your very first year, maybe that's the reason kind of where it was like, oh, you were just super jazzed up because it was your very, very first time.
And
so
that,
maybe
that could very much be true. That's why I'm not really thinking too much into it, because at the end of the day, it was still a blast. I mean, it's a larger than life conference of anything that you can think of.
Because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there to drag you around to go to all the different booths and do.
I was like, thank God I could see the stuff I actually want to see. And
right.
Not just
yeah.
I
go to that game show that we played, the cool trivia game show and stuff, and then the one where you don't want to step on the blocks and everything. And
yeah. Carson, the one thing, talking about last year really quick, the one thing I thought was pretty cool was all of the big name manufacturer booths were in the same spot as last year.
Okay.
So that was kind of a big,
that's nice.
That was kind of a big plus, stepping onto the show floor, kind of already knowing where I need to go to the big name booths.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But starting with
GCI was literally like all the way in left corner, and everything else was kind of like, you know, front and center kind of thing, where everything else was and whatever. So
starting with Six Flags, obviously B&M's booth is right by the entrance to the show floor. So as soon as I walked in, I was greeted by the Raptera train, the B&M wing coaster, and man, does it look pretty. I mean, it looks really good.
I'm sure it looks even better in person.
Yeah,
oh my God, even the pictures are beautiful.
Yeah,
it looks really pretty. And either that day or the next day was when Raptera made its first test run. So that was definitely funny. I was like, wait, how's it testing? There's a train right here.
Clearly Train 2 is still waiting.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe they're just like, oh, by the way, B&M, we just build trains just for mock-ups and for presentations, but this will never be on the track.
Actually, that train was plastic.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was bummed out they didn't let anybody sit in the train, though. I saw the pictures and they had
nobody sat in any trains this year. I don't.
But
think.
if you remember,
it might have been my fault. Remember, I went up to the Intamin coaster and was like pushing on the.
Yeah. If you remember,
you got everybody in trouble.
They were like running after me. Hey, don't touch that. Leave that alone. I'm like, it's a train. And they're like, okay, next year and from next year on, nobody's allowed to sit in the trains anymore.
Yeah, that might just be a B&M thing, because if you remember last year, SeaWorld Orlando's new coaster, Penguin Trek, got debuted at IAAPA.
Yeah.
And you could not sit in that train either. So
maybe B&M's the problem.
Yeah, it might just be a B&M thing. I don't know.
Tell them to fix their rattle, and then we'll, then it'll be okay. Anyways,
moving on to the only other Six Flags Entertainment Company train at IAAPA this year was Alpenfury going to Canada's Wonderland over by the Premier Rides booth. That one looks pretty. That one looks less pretty. That one looks a little more. It's kind of
goofy.
Yeah, and for me it was. Gosh, I sure hope it's comfortable and they fixed some of their.
I hate Premier trains, but that one does. It doesn't have the comfort collars.
Yeah,
maybe that's like
easier to get in and out of.
Like, hey, we came up with a new train design.
I will say my hometown Premier launch coaster, Icebreaker, over at SeaWorld. Recently, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but recently they ditched the comfort collars. It was figured out that they no longer needed them. They were merely an insurance thing. So back in like February or March of this year, they actually got rid of the comfort collars across all of the trains. And I will say the ride when it had comfort collars versus the ride without comfort collars, a much, much, much more enjoyable experience, not only from the ride experience itself, but the loading and unloading. So much more comfortable. So I was really glad to see that they don't have comfort collars. My biggest gripe with Premier's trains, besides the comfort collars, is it feels like there's about 6 inches of room to squeeze into those trains, especially when you have to cross to get out. It just feels so tight.
Like you gotta
I'm a skinny guy, and it is impossible to maneuver those damn trains.
Like. You gotta like shuffle your feet to like make them like go sideways.
And then they have that weird little like blocker on the floor that is just for color, I think, and you trip over it every time you get in and out of those trains.
Yeah.
I think they did get rid of those, but
the train, Alpenfury's train did not look. It looked like they gave a little more room, but not a ton more room. Still looks pretty, and I'm still excited for the ride. I'm personally not a huge fan of their train designs, not from an aesthetic point of view, but from a functionality point of view. So I hope that these are the best ones. I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that these are the best ones. But I'd be lying if I would be saying that I was a little bit less excited for this ride, knowing that it's a Premier launch versus some other manufacturer. Just because of the train comfort. Honestly, I mean, I'm excited for it. It's a little bit of a, man, I hope they get this right.
Yeah, no, I get it. Kind of like Zamperla with Top Thrill 2.
Yeah. Speaking of Zamperla, I did walk by their booth. Carson, they did not have a ride this year. No Zamperla ride on the show floor.
Oh, not even a cool little bouncy one that we did?
No Zamperla ride on the show floor this year. Obviously, no train in their booth. By the way, their booth is massive. Their booth is huge. It's easily the biggest of all the big manufacturers, which I think
they usually have a ride.
Yeah,
I remember their carpet was very soft last year.
So there were no ride vehicles in the Zamperla booth this year. Also, in their all of the booths have screens built into their booths that have like a pretty B-roll package of all of their most popular rides. Top Thrill 2 was not anywhere in Zamperla's B-roll package. Wild Mouse was, in fact, but Top Thrill 2 was not.
Well, maybe next year, once they get, whatever dialed in, it'll be, back on there kind of thing. Because to be fair, it wasn't really open per se. So
I wonder, because I'm sure there were enthusiasts that went running up to the booth, what's going on with Top Thrill 2? Like, what was their... Because they obviously aren't going to tell people.
They probably were just saying, "Yeah, we're working on it." I mean, what else can you say? I mean,
or did like an alarm go off and they like booted these people out? they see the kid with the pack and glasses, straps, and a Top Thrill 2 T-shirt running up to the booth, and they're like, "Ah, crap."
To be fair, when I was there last year, I didn't really see a whole lot of it's expensive to get into IAAPA. It's not just a $30 ticket kind of thing. It's hundreds it's $100 or $200 or something like that just to get onto the floor. So
yeah, you know as well as me though, Karsten, that enthusiasts don't prioritize normal things. So enthusiasts will have
I'm not
to
going to eat for a whole month. I'm not going
or
to
shower or buy deodorant just so I could afford this $500 ticket. Their priorities usually aren't straight. I'm just saying. Anyways, Kyle, sorry for stealing your thunder.
No, you're good. I did actually stop and say hi to Adam Sandy, who we had on this show a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say hi,
Mm-hmm.
just to say, hey, thanks for coming on our show. He was nice. I actually happened to catch him away from the Zamperla booth. I was walking somewhere else, and we passed each other. Got to chat with him.
Okay.
Also got to chat with Michael Graham from Gravity Group, who we had on the show.
Hey.
So that was pretty cool. Speaking of Gravity Group, there was actually some kind of unexpected news coming out of their booth, and that is that ZDT's, the Family Fun Center in Texas, am I right? Is it Texas?
Yeah, San
Texas?
Antonio, I think.
Somewhere like that. They are selling their Gravity Group wooden shuttle coaster Switchback.
So does Six Flags want to buy it?
Reading into it a little bit, it seems that the family, because it actually is completely family owned by the Donhauser family, and the owner of the park, Danny Donhauser, who not only owns the park but also performs all of the maintenance and daily repairs on Switchback, he's had his fun, he's made his money, and he's looking to retire. And that they were trying to sell the park as a whole, but it was not going so well, so now they're selling off rides. And once the rides are gone, they're going to sell the land. But it's estimated, I was reading an article that it's going for about $3.1 million if anybody's in the market for a gently used Gravity Group shuttle coaster.
I don't think we've got the credit limit on the CP rundown card, so
No. Not at all.
Yeah, but you know who does? Six Flags.
True. Or I was thinking, like, what about like Dino's Wonder Wheel or something? Like that'd be kind of cool to have that over.
Or Waldemir, or I mean, let's face it, Knoebels is going to wind up with it.
Right.
Maybe Indiana Beach could buy it. Maybe Gene Staples has got more in his pocket.
That could be cool. He could put it in. What's that one that's over by Niagara Falls? What's that park?
Fantasy Island, if that's what it's still called. But yeah, Fantasy Island and Grand Island.
Could do something.
Yeah, I've been there. That's a fun little park.
I don't know. It's nice. It's cool to see that they're actually wanting to sell the ride off and not just, we're closing the park and,
Yeah, that's a super unique ride. I don't think there is any other wooden shuttle coasters. So I really hope that finds some life somewhere else.
Yeah. It's kind of a good selling point for Gravity Group, though, thinking about it. It's like, hey, well, this guy bought this and then made all the money he needed. He's retiring now. So if anyone else wants to buy this and make all the money, go for it.
Yeah. Ooh, you know who else might end up with it? One of the Fun Spot parks.
I was going to say Fun Spot.
That was going to be my next topic. Was there's always some celebrities on the show floor. I ran into John Ari Jr., the president and CEO of Fun Spot.
Hey.
That was pretty cool.
Did you tell him that you love Bumper, the cat?
I did. Yeah. I said how much I loved Bumper. I said after I withstood a Category 4 hurricane, Bumper was the first thing I thought about, and I went over to make sure that he was okay.
Hey, and I've ridden his namesake ride, RE Force One. That's a really good coaster.
I have not, but I should be getting on it this month, assuming that they are open. Assuming that they're open the day after Christmas. Because
Are you going to Atlanta?
Well, you see, my family this year, we decided instead of me coming back to Ohio for Christmas, we'd meet in the middle in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Okay.
So we rented a cabin in Pigeon Forge, and we'll be staying there from the 26th through New Year's Eve.
Are you driving up there then?
Yes, I am. So I'm going to pass right through Atlanta, and as long as the park is open, I will gladly stop in.
I'm doing your research for you right now.
I've looked, and I think it is.
If anybody's in Pigeon Forge, make sure you look out for Kyle, because you can say hi to him. And
not only are they open the day after Christmas, they're open on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Day. So you're good. 10 to 8, my friend.
Cool.
Wow.
Also,
awesome.
an unexpected celebrity I ran into, Hulk Hogan was at IAAPA this year.
Yeah, I saw.
Why? His namesake is on a line of claw machines that he was at IAAPA selling.
Oh my god!
It's called.
We did actually tease the other the questionnaire
stupid,
machine or the answer machine or whatever you want to call it.
The crystal ball dude, but it was.
Trump.
It was Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump was not there, but Hulk Hogan was. His claw machines are called Hulkamania Prize Drop. So I did see.
So this dude showed up, who otherwise has nothing to do with the amusement industry. He was there.
Yeah, but he also lives in Tampa, and he has some beach shops in Orlando. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for him to be in Orlando.
Did you get to see him like ride one of the rides that were there? You know, like the spinning coaster.
I did not see him. I did not see him.
Fun, brother.
No.
Oh yeah.
I was actually
that's Macho Man.
I was actually just walking the show floor, and I just saw him.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was walking the show floor, and I saw him, and I had to do like a double take. I was like, "What the hell? Was that Hulk Hogan?"
Was there like people around him, or was he just like, you know, just like an everyday Joe Schmo?
Oh, I mean, there were people around him, yeah, but he didn't have like security or handlers or anything. He was just there.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Hey, can I get an autograph and a picture?"
He was probably threatening Parks, like, "Hey, Cedar Point, you better buy my claw machine, brother."
Yeah.
He's like, "What?
What a weird year.
Let me tell you something about RMC, brother." Like,
yeah.
I rode that Air Force One. Oh boy.
Something else new this year was they had a whole haunt wing of IAAPA, but it wasn't actually on the show floor. It was up on the concourse level. Like, you know how when you walk into the convention center, you're up on the second floor and then you go down the escalators. It was up on the second floor, and they actually built a haunted house, like a full-blown haunted house. And there was like 10 rooms, and every single room was a different company that built the room. And then when you exited the haunted house, then you were in this whole little like haunt wing that had all the haunt vendors up in one centralized area.
That's cool.
Yeah,
was the haunt good?
I mean, it was fine. There were no actors or anything. It was more so just like a demonstration of the tech and
to show their like special effects and stuff. Yeah.
But
that's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then Carson, I visited your favorite wing of the expo hall, and that was the food wing. I tried some snacks. Your favorite mini melts were back, and actually, I'm gonna show you something. Our listeners can't see it, but I got you something, and it is a vinyl sticker. A Mini Melts vinyl sticker. Just for you.
Oh!
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
That's okay.
Well, next time I see you, I will give you this Mini Melts vinyl sticker.
What is Mini Melts? Is that like off-brand Dippin' Dots?
Yeah, It's just another Dippin' Dots brand. It's the same product.
Did you talk to our guy?
I did not see him.
Wanted to sell us like 700 different machines.
I forgot about that story.
Yeah.
He didn't understand that you weren't actually a park.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, with CP Reno, he's like, "Awesome, cool. How big's your park?" And I'm like, "I don't have a park." And I just, and then I was like, I just wanted a free sample like everybody else was getting, and then he was just grilling me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Y'all got to go back and listen to our IAAPA show from last year. That was a funny one.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did not see him.
I think it was a long one, but yeah.
There were some good stories in there.
So I tried some Mini Melts. I tried some Dippin' Dots, some good old Dippin' Dots. I had
which is better?
Well, I had different flavors of each. I had mint chocolate chip.
I feel like it's the same consistency.
Yeah, I had mint chocolate chip Dippin' Dots,
Same
which
technology.
I guess that's a new flavor. So those were pretty cool. And then
did you have a bunch of different ices? Did you have a bunch of Ben pretzels? Did you have a bunch of?
So I had one Ben's pretzel. That was the longest line of the exhibit, was to get a Ben's pretzel.
Oh, it always is. It was always. Did they have the little mini pretzels? Did they have the little mini pretzels, like the way that you can powder them with like brown sugar?
Yes,
I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't get any.
Remember, you and I tried Ben's pretzels before they were cool. Remember, they were at Holiday World in 2020.
Yes. Yeah, we were like, "Oh, COVID," and they're like, "Here, have a free pretzel." We're like, "Sweet." take the mask down, eat it.
I did not try any ices, but
Oh yeah, that's right.
you know the brand Slush Puppy, very similar to Icy.
Oh yeah.
So apparently Icy owns Slush Puppy. I don't know if that's new or if it's always been that way, but apparently they're the same company.
I believe that's not new.
Okay. I'm not familiar with Icy enough to know that if that's a new development.
Carson sure is.
But
Let me tell you something, brother.
I walked up to the Icy booth, and they had the Icy machines and the Slush Puppy machines, and the Icies were like just the regular standard Icy flavors, and then Slush Puppy had some cool flavors. And there was one that was a mystery flavor, so I was like, "Oh, I'm going mystery flavor all day." So I tried that mystery flavor. It was like a blue,
Was it good?
Yeah, it was like a blue raspberry type. It was pretty good.
I have to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was at Great Northern Mall. That's over here in the Cleveland area. Last weekend. I kid you not. They had one of those awesome, cool cotton candy robot machine maker thingies in there, and people were buying it, and I got to see it do it, and the whole 9 yards, everything.
Something you saw at IAAPA last year?
Yes, I saw it, and oh my gosh, I had popcorn made for me from a robot. I had ice cream that got messed up, but made for me from a robot. I got because it missed the cup. That's how it got messed up. It was like and it like the cup didn't go in, and the ice cream just went boop right on the platform.
Oh my god!
And then also the cotton candy, and it was like and make really, really cool different designs and things like that. Did you try that? Did you get to have some of that? Oh, there was also the Skittles machine too. I remember on the show floor. Sorry, I'm going like crazy right now. But I remember the Skittles, and it would literally be like, if you wanted all green, you'd be like, select all green, and it literally would give you all green. And
the Skittles machine was there. I'm not huge into Skittles, so I did not get those.
The guy was kind of interesting there too.
The cotton candy.
You're gonna buy a machine? I'm like, no, I just want a sample. I'm like, why does everybody think I'm gonna buy something?
Because you are at a trade show. Most trade shows are not open to.
But
enthusiasts.
it also said press. Dang it! It said press.
The cotton candy.
Any other weird food that you didn't see last year that was there this year?
Not really. There were a lot of people selling like churros this year, so I definitely tried some churros.
Okay.
I didn't try a whole lot of stuff. I'm trying to think.
Mini donuts. That's what that was called. The mini donut stand.
There were mini donuts there. I did not get any because the line was just as long as Ben's soft pretzels.
What was like, food aside, like just overall, like what was the weirdest but like coolest off the wall random thing you saw?
I mean, I don't want to say it was cool, but that Trump Zoltar machine was pretty weird.
Did it
like you need to describe it? So tell because
so what is a normal Zoltar?
So
machine?
a normal Zoltar machine is like the fortune teller, right? So it's inside of a box, and you put your dollar in, and it reads you a fortune and spits you out a card, and like that's the thing, right? You just do it to get the card.
So if anyone's thinking of like over by Maverick, there's literally one that's called, I think it's called Pappy or something.
Yeah.
And literally a few bucks in there, and he literally gives you like a little fortune. But I'm curious what this one.
The Trump one is a Donald Trump animatronic wearing a MAGA hat, and he's spouting some shit about it's the greatest country in the world. I did that. It's because of me. And like random shit like that, and then it spits you out a card. And they did not have the Trump cards there. They were just like generic test cards. They didn't
have the NFTs.
No, they had like just generic, like the generic cards that would come if you didn't print anything on it. So they were just blank.
Okay.
But man, it was weird. There were so many. That guy had to have gotten like the most press at IAAPA because there were so many people over there taking pictures. And
yeah,
that's theme park enthusiasts, the theme park community in general. That's an interesting group of people to try to sell something Donald Trump related to.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where I would see that at, and I'm not really coming to
a mall in Alabama. I mean, sorry to any of our Alabama listeners, but I don't see Cedar Point bringing one of these in.
That would, right. I don't know. I mean, that, you know what?
Hey, no, for the seller of that machine, no. What is it? What's the phrase? No publicity is bad publicity, or whatever.
Did you get to play any of the claw games? Remember, like we went to the claw game. There was the game. Remember, I would always beat you. You never beat me at the
You just had to bring that up.
Sorry, the one where it was like you had to climb the mountain or whatever with the rope.
Yep.
And
So
go back
that
and
one,
forth
that same game was back. So I played it with Dean.
Did you beat him?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
There were a lot of cool claw machines.
If I was there, nobody would have won, but
There was one claw machine there where it was like 5 mini claw machines at once, but you controlled all 5. So when you moved one of the claws to the right, they would all move to the right. And then when you hit the drop button, they would all drop. So you would have the potential to win like 5 prizes at once. That was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did they have the toilet game?
I heard that they had that game, but I did not see that game myself.
Okay.
But I heard that they did.
Yeah. There's so much.
There's
fun.
a lot of weird stuff at IAAPA. How was the drone show this year?
I'm sorry?
Because I know they always close. How was the drone show this year? Because I know they always close with the drone show.
So they actually did the drone show 2 nights this year. They did Tuesday night and Wednesday night. It was really cool.
Okay.
Carson, it was different than what it was last year. Same company and same thing. It was just a different show. And they once again this year broke the world record for largest drone show. I stopped by their booth this year. Those drones that they use on that show are tiny. I mean, they're like the size of the palm of my hand. I mean, they're small.
Okay.
Do we know, is that the same company? Because I know there's a ton of drone companies out there now. Is that the same company that Kings Island uses?
I don't know if it's the one that Kings Island uses, but I do know it's the one that Universal uses for their drone shows.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not certain if it's the one that Kings Island used or not.
Did they have that really cool fog gun that they had last year where you'd
They did. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
One story that I'm going to tell that you guys might find interesting, but I'm more so just telling it for myself because I think it's really cool. So I went to Bowling Green State University for a major called Visual Communication Technology. That major was founded by a gentleman named Gene Poor. Gene Poor founded that major at Bowling Green and then left Bowling Green to start a animatronics company called Life Formations. And they've been very successful. They do animatronics. They do animatronics for little parks, malls, education sessions, everything, all the way up to Disney. They did the Beauty and the Beast animatronic in Tokyo. They did most of the animatronics for Tiana's Bayou Adventure that just opened at Magic Kingdom.
Which those are insane.
So that gentleman, Gene Poor, he and that company used to be headquartered in Bowling Green, Ohio. They still have an office in Bowling Green, but their main headquarters now are in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
So that gentleman, Gene Poor, he gave control of the company to his son in the early 2000s and then came back to Bowling Green to teach entrepreneurship. So
that's cool.
I took a few of his entrepreneurship classes, and I actually didn't know anything about his past, but one day I was being a smartass in his class. I was in a lecture hall, and he was spouting about how his company was building Beauty and the Beast animatronics for Shanghai, and I shouted out, "It's actually going to Tokyo." And he's like, "Who said that?" And I was like, "Oh, I did." He's like, "All right, come talk to me after class." And I'm like, God damn it. I don't know what I did, but I'm in trouble, man. And I went up and talked to him. I was like, and he's like, "So what do you do? Or what's your major?" I was like, "VCT." He's like, "I founded VCT. What do you want to do in life?" And I was like, I want to work at theme parks. I want to take my VCT degree, and I want to go to a theme park and make content. And he's like, "Great. You ever heard of IAAPA?" And I was like, "Yes, I have." And he's like, "Great. I've been going there for XYZ years. I own this big company. I'm going to take you this year, and I'm going to put you under my wing. And when you graduate, I think you're probably going to walk out of there with a job because so many people know me." That didn't end up happening because that was the COVID year, and IAAPA got canceled. So
That's brutal.
He never took me to IAAPA. He saw me this year at the show floor, And not only did he remember who I was, he came up and talked to me. He
that's so
shouted
cool.
at me from across.
That's awesome.
And when I told him what I did now, he was so happy. He's like, I always knew that you'd find your way. He's like, I'm sorry I couldn't bring you, but I was confident about you. You were special.
Yeah.
So that was like a really heartwarming thing for me to see him on the
That's
show
so
floor.
awesome.
That's cool.
And,
That was a cool story.
And talk
I like
to
it.
him. So that was pretty
That is
cool.
so cool.
Other than that, I mean, do you guys have any other questions about IAAPA? I'm trying to rack my brain, but
Did you ride any of the rides?
Oh, there we go. I did ride. I rode 2 of the rides. One thing really quick. Carson, last year, were the rides operated by FunSpot employees?
Not that I know of.
The rides were operated by FunSpot employees this year.
IAAPA just rents FunSpot. They're like, you are ours for.
I don't know if they were FunSpot rides or what, but
Well, FunSpot just so they were. What's the name of the company? SBF Visa, right?
yeah.
That had most of the rides. FunSpot just bought a crap load of SBF Visa rides off of Funplex in Myrtle Beach because they closed. So I wonder if those were the rides from Funplex that FunSpot just bought and they're distributing to Kissimmee and Orlando and Atlanta.
Well, one of them was the little mini like inverted pendulum ride.
Okay.
Both
Like-
parks
Like
already.
Max here. Max
Yeah,
here kind
yeah,
of
like
thing?
the little one that sits like 10 people and goes fully inverted all the way upside down.
Yeah. Ugh.
Both parks
Okay.
already
They
have
have all in there.
both parks already have one of those. So I don't know about that one specifically.
I don't think Atlanta does.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I rode that. I got stuck on that because the damn thing didn't park in the right spot. So the floor.
That's a good look for SBF.
Yeah. So the floor wouldn't come up. It was really funny too. It was hilarious. The FunSpot employee like walked away from the ride panel, went and got one of the SBF Visa guys, who then came over in a full suit and banged on something, and then the floor came up.
That is. So there was a park standing there talking to that guy and was like, yeah, I'm real interested, and then watch this whole shenanigans go down. It was like, actually, I'm gonna
go with
the upper
Zamperla.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna take a peek over there.
but great talking to you.
So yeah, I rode that, and then I also rode the I don't know the technical term for it, but the spinny ride that pins you to the wall.
Oh, like a
The
rotor.
new version
Yeah,
of the,
yeah.
Revolution
The new
or
age.
Graviton or
Yeah, the new age
that
rotor.
one. I heard the floor drop on that. Was that scary?
A little bit. There was a dude next to me. I mean, not next to me, but in the same ride vehicle as me, who was standing up perpendicular to the ride.
Oh,
Like once he got pinned to the wall, he got on all fours and then stood up, and was like standing on the wall, but he was extending like 5 feet out. You know?
what? I didn't know that. What? I mean,
I don't think a park would really love it if somebody did that on one of their rides.
Yeah. Well, the guy next to me did.
Like that kind of stuff that you see like in the if you see footage of the old Cedar Point roundup from like the 1950s, you see people doing crap like that.
Yeah.
I thought I was ballsy when I went to a carnival and they had one that was indoor, and I would go either upside down completely when it was going like full like speed,
UFO rides.
or I would be ballsy and turn myself around and put my belly on the thing and make sure that I had my head against the thing or whatever, so I didn't like suffocate, but
Yeah.
stand up. How in the world?
Like literally,
So his feet were
imagine.
against the wall.
Yes, imagine getting on all fours and standing up, but doing that on a wall. Like that's what he did. And something tells
my
me,
gosh.
he probably grew up doing that because he was not a young man. I mean, he was old.
Yeah, homie used to ride the roundup at his local,
Yeah.
Jogga Lake or whatever, and that just brought back memories.
He's
I
like,
mean-
oh, I get to do this again.
Yeah. I mean, he
Oh.
wasn't like an old man in a walker old, but like he was probably in like his mid 50s. So like he had some experience doing that. Before.
That's
Oh my
funny.
God. And I'm sure as soon as the ride parked, the IAAPA officials were like, "All right, sir, give me your credentials."
No, honestly,
please."
no one said anything to him. It was weird.
They were all just like impressed.
Maybe it's one of the ride manufacturer guys that you were talking about. I don't the company.
Yeah.
He's like, we do this all the time.
Other than that,
Wow.
I didn't ride anything else this year.
I'd be afraid of falling. I'm sorry, but I'd be like, oh my gosh, what happens if like the ride starts slowing down and I just literally fall? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Maybe sitting in style, maybe one thing, but not stand all the way up. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I did not ride anything else this year. Just those two.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, seems like a successful year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had just as much fun as I did the year before, so it was a great week. I got to see a lot of people that I'm friends with. I got to network with a lot of people. It was a good experience. Hopefully, Evan, one of these years you can take some time off work and come out and do it.
I need to do it one of these years. Just between being at Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like and then I'm gonna take more time off.
It's a bear. It's a big show. It's a big show.
And then I want to go to Universal after.
I heard
if I'm saying it's a big show, it's a big show.
Yeah, I heard a stat this year that if you were to take all of the aisles and all of the footpaths of IAAPA and put them in a straight line, it would extend to about 10.5 miles of show floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I walked all of them. I made sure I found all the good stuff for us to see.
It's like the night at HHN. Jesus.
Yeah.
I was exhausted for sure.
Oh well.
Well, I was gonna throw in some other just kind of filler Orlando content, but honestly, I don't think we need it. I think the show is long enough.
I think we talked more at the beginning than I think we thought we would.
Yeah. It came up on it for sure.
So, before I take us out, any final questions about IAAPA?
I don't think so.
All right.
Just jealous.
Well, that's going to do it this week. As Carson said, we're going to figure out some logistics on our end to come up with our Santa and Grinch episodes, but be looking forward to those in the future. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm excited for those. Those are always my favorite episodes of the year, so really excited for that. Kyle, hope you feel better.
Thank you.
We could actually get 2 weeks in a row with all three of us.
And make sure that you share this podcast with all of your friends and coworkers. And thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you guys next week.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Go ahead and take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.